internalizing what was happening around me at the time I was writing it. And I was living in New York, and there was all the talk on building the wall and immigration, and Trump had just gotten elected into office, and it was just crazy. People have been messaging me a lot being like, you're in America at a crazy time. I'm like, when am I not in America at a crazy time? Because it's just been crazy this whole 4 years. And so then I was internalizing it, and, you know, just if I can't get over my own hurdles of not accepting myself because of my heritage, then how is somebody that is not as privileged as me even going to have a chance? So I was just trying to internalize this releasing within myself, and it was really cathartic. It happened within like 10 minutes, and I just wrote it on piano at 3 a.m. I was coming off some really strong antidepressants, so I was just trying to channel the withdrawals. And I think you just don't want to look into one side of who you are when you grow up in a country that's predominantly white, and I'm like, my mother's fully European, but my father isn't. And I think you just want to turn off that side because it's like shameful, or, you know, had to go to therapy, and I've had more of a chaotic life than other people. But writing this song it was just my own personal freedom. And also my friend in America, she's a high profile political figure, and we're having dinner. I was telling her how when I'm in Australia, I'm embarrassed to talk about who I really am or my heritage. And she's like, yeah, Jamie, that's because we live in a made up class system. And she just explained it all. She has a degree in social science. And that's when I was like, really? It triggered me to look at my rights, look at the research, the real history, not the stuff we're told. And then I pieced it all together. I'm like, okay, cool, this makes sense. And then I found my power, and acknowledging that side, I was like, this is so hard for me. And so I was crying for like a couple of days, but I'm really glad I did. Now is a time to open up the conversation, because there is just so much ingrained racism in Australia. Like, I'm from Queensland. It's quite sheltered and conservative, and I just think we need to have a bit of a check-in with our culture and everything.
Jamie Lee Dimes talking about the inspiration for her track Release Me. And just a reminder to people out there listening, Lifeline is 13 11 14, Beyond Blue 1300 22 46 36. We are talking about mental health issues during this interview, and I just want to make sure that you know that there are places where you can seek professional and mental help as you go through your own journeys. Amazing chat with Jamie Lee Dimes. She has another song which was just released recently, the follow-up track Virginia, and this is her explanation about the inspiration behind that track.
We just released the music video for Virginia, the one we shot when South by got cancelled, and we went out to the middle of Texas with Super 8, and that song, I was the same time period as Release Me. I woke up in New Jersey, as you do, and the news was that there was like white nationalists, supremacists chanting racist, hateful slurs, and had torches and flags, and it was crazy. Like, it's not every day you wake up with that. And that was the first time it happened. And Trump was, enticing a lot of it, and then ended up defending them. And I was just so angry. And I remember I had to walk to the train station from my house, and I'd been living in New York, but in New Jersey, like, people harass you a lot. And this guy started following me for 5 blocks, and I was so angry because I just watched the news. I turned to him, I was like, go get fucked. And then I just went back to my apartment and wrote this song, and I wrote it on piano to start with. And then it was just like a tribute to those that fall through the cracks of society and don't have a voice to speak about this kind of stuff. We live in a society where it's, built for a certain class or whatever. Like, there's opportunities, all that kind of stuff. And it's kind of like a political statement song. And then, we called it a love letter to America because we didn't want any crazy things to happen. I had to have a meeting with a political advisor before I released it in America. Wow. So yeah.
That's interesting because it's something you'd never think of having to do in Australia. I guess we're quite liberal in that way.
I know, but people have guns here and they're a bit wild.
On the back of the bus waiting to go forward.
Your story's just amazing and you're so kick-ass. It's sick. I absolutely love it. So thank you so much for coming on to Roots.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm so grateful. And I'm in Australia next. Who knows when we'll go and have a beer and plot our schemes of legislation takeover.
You're listening to Roots and All on Triple J, the amazing Jamie Lee Dimes. When we come back, cinematic funk, blues, rock and roll, and so much more. This is Roots and All on Triple J.